guys, it's Emma and I'm back today for you with another video. And today we're doing a book review. We are reviewing Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. This is about a girl named Rory who is basically going back to her hometown. It's a small town, she's a little townie, because her sister is pregnant and she's heavy pregnant. So she's there to take care of her sister. And while she's there, she's attacked by an animal. And after the attack, Rory starts experiencing very strange things very adjacent to the after effects of a werewolf attack. So the trigger warnings for this book, I would say, are animal death and gore, obviously because we're dealing with a werewolf novel here. Pedophilia, indecent exposure to a minor, mentions of child abuse, and self-harm. This is just gonna be a video propaganda of me telling you guys why I think you should read Such Sharp Teeth. It's gonna be a spoiler-free review, and I just wanna gush to you guys about how much I love this book. And I will link the ambiance that I listened to while reading this because I really do think it will enhance your reading experience. And yeah, let's just jump right the hell into it. So there are two major themes that Such Sharp Teeth depicts, and the first theme is rage. More particularly feminine rage, in my opinion, alright? Because Rory has gone through some severe traumatic events in her life, and we see through how she deals with trauma, how survivors are expected to deal with trauma in general, how no matter what age you experienced said trauma at, you're kind of given a deadline of sorts in order to heal from your trauma, and if you haven't healed by that deadline, you're kind of just a lost cause. So we see that anger and how Rory kind of reacts to people kind of telling her to move on from her trauma. And then we also see aspects of female rage and how women are expected to handle their anger in general, and how women kind of are expected to not have lasting anger anyway. It was really refreshing to not only see Rory's anger, but her anger being, I guess, expanded upon tenfold because of the werewolf transformation that she goes through. The anger literally tears itself off of the pages, all right? It was addicting for me to not only watch how Rory's anger manifested, but also to see how she handled it, because she does go through a lot of processes to try and handle these newfound anger issues of hers, because she kind of comes to a few roadblocks where, for example, she's kind of like, maybe it's not appropriate to push my sister's ex-boyfriend, who I don't like very much, into a wall and dislocate his shoulder because of my superhuman strength now. Maybe let's not do that, but I don't know. It reminded me so much of Foul is Fair by Hannah Kaplan. I love Foul is Fair. It's one of my favorite books of all time. The anger radiates off of that book, and I think if you were a fan of how addicting the anger was coming off of that book, then I think you'll really like Such Sharp Teeth as well. The second theme kind of bleeds off of the first theme of anger, and that's the theme of motherhood and the anger that can come from motherhood as well. And we really see this theme come more so from Rory's twin sister Scarlett, because Scarlett is the pregnant one. We see how Scarlett reacts being pregnant and reacts to all of these people coming over to her and congratulating her and basically pestering her with, okay, yeah, you need to do this while you're pregnant, you need to do this when you just give birth, you need to do this, and this, and kind of suffocating her and not really letting her have her own thoughts about being pregnant. We really see that through Scarlett and how she hates the phase of being pregnant, of carrying the child. Scarlett even talks about how she feels like she's not allowed to mourn her body pre-pregnancy. I can understand how some people would not want to come off as shallow for that reason, but I think you're allowed to do that, especially when, you know, you're like, okay, you know, there wasn't this huge vein here before. We see Scarlett also come to terms with the fact that her life will never be the same after she has a kid, all right? She will never be able to do the same things that she was able to do single and without a kid as she will now that she has a kid. And it's almost very existential for her. It was just very refreshing to see motherhood not be sugar-coated for once. I want to talk about what this book would be for fans of. All right, I already said that I think if you're a fan of Foul is Fair by Hannah Kaplan, I think you'll really like this book. I think that if you're a fan of werewolf books in general, I would recommend you guys to pick this up. If you're a fan of the movie Wolf with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer, it kind of has that beginning. If you're a fan of Ginger Snaps, I think you'll really be a fan of at least the werewolf design in this book. Also, like the title suggests, I found the song Decode by Paramore. I found it. It's like however many years old. I was listening to it on repeat while I was reading this, and obviously the lyrics to Decode have a more romantic purpose, but I feel like if you twist them enough, they would fit such sharp teeth, which, you know, I feel like you can say that about anything, but I don't know. Look, I'm just gonna say that I think Decode by Paramore would be a pretty damn good soundtrack for this book. The werewolf aspect, all right? Look, I'm not gonna like your werewolf book if it doesn't have a good werewolf aspect. And by that, I mean the design, the lore, everything like that, all right? So as far as the design goes, not only of the werewolf itself, but of the werewolf story. Like I said, if you're the fan of the movie Wolf with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer, I think you really like how the story, like how the bite itself starts out. If you're a fan of Ginger Snaps, the werewolf in Ginger Snaps, or if you're a fan of Lupin's werewolf from Harry Potter, I think you'll really be a fan of the werewolf design. The werewolf design, like, it was terrifying. Just how this thing carries itself. Ugh. The transformation that Rory goes through to become this werewolf is incredibly painful. We're walked through it with her step by step. You see how her like her bones break and re-break, how her skin basically elongates and sometimes tears, how her teeth fall out and then her werewolf teeth grow in. It's excruciating to read. Rory often talks about how she hates the fact that she can't control the transformation, that she can't control her own body, it seems. And that statement, not being able to control her own body, kind of rings true with how Scarlet feels about pregnancy. Scarlet kind of feels that, you know, this baby, it's a whole nother person inside of her and it's changing her body. And so she can't control the changes coming to her own body. So both of the sisters, while one is going through a supernatural change and the other is going through a more human change, both are going through their own painful, unstoppable almost transformations. And I really liked that parallel. I thought it was really freaking clever. The writing, the fluidity of this book was so damn well executed. All right, I flew through this bitch. Okay, I like, oh my goodness, it was so just calming to finally be able to read a book where I was actually enjoying reading it all the way through, because I've been in a very bad burnout for maybe like the past month, and it's just been, I've kind of been holding myself just on autopilot, trying to read like these books, trying to get them at least off the shelf, and just, I don't know, try and find a book that I'm actually enjoying. And Such Sharp Teeth was that for me, all right? Oh my gosh, the prose was so good. Like, I have a couple quotes in here. Now, if y'all count this as spoilers, I personally don't, but if you guys do, you guys can skip to this timestamp right here. But there's only 3, so I'll be done really quickly. So the first one that I got is on page 8, when Rory is first attacked, and basically the animal that she's about to be attacked by puffs out its chest and then raises its head to the sky and doesn't howl, but the word that she uses is scream, and she says animals shouldn't be able to scream like that. Bone chilling. And then on 176, when Rory and her boyfriend are, you know, kissing and whatever, and he goes, "You're so beautiful, you're so beautiful," she thinks, "But I need him to love me ugly." And then the last one, this book was just hilarious. All right, I love Rory. I love her so much. She is like, you know, obsessed with her new boyfriend, and basically she thinks, "I did look up our zodiac compatibility earlier, a true low point for me. The match seemed promising, but I bailed when it got into the moon signs." and all I had to say was me. She's me. I gave Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison 5 stars. Okay, I loved this book. This is probably my new favorite werewolf book. I cannot really articulate really how much I adored reading this book, okay? Because first of all, it got me out of my reading slump, hopefully. The werewolf in this book took so many different pieces from so many different like werewolf media points. It was so cool. And it was really creepy at some points. It was just so good, okay? So, oh my goodness, I cannot recommend this enough. So you guys, that was my spoiler-free review for Such Sharp Teeth. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you'll pick it up because it just came out, all right? And it's a banger, all right? It is a banger, okay? So, like I said, I hope you will check it out. I hope you'll like it as well. For any of those werewolf girlies out there, word. With that being said, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you will continue to look out for more videos on my channel, that you guys are staying safe, and that you guys have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.